met a lady last night, my Lyft driver, who was she was from the Queens, and she had your accent, like the New York accent. So.
My accent?
A New York accent. That's all I gotta say. All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to C.H.A.I Together. I am your host and founder, Petit Bidet. Today, you are tuning into Your Cup of Courage, Hope, and Imagination with Mr. Luis Sandoval. Did I pronounce that right?
Yes, you did. Yes, you did.
Awesome. How are you feeling?
Feeling good. Feeling it's been a long week, but I'm feeling good right now. Thank God.
You were just sharing with me that you have COVID.
Yes. It's funny because I went to the doctor Friday morning. I got the test done. Came back negative. Well, I found out 2 days later. I came back negative. So then my wife was like scared, like, oh my God, I don't know, do you? So I went to a different place that had a rapid test. I got it done. That came back positive. So that one came back positive. They also did the PCR. And when it came back, it was positive. So I had 2 PCR tests, one negative, one positive, and then a rapid test, one positive. So I'm positive pretty much.
Yeah. It's interesting.
I've been stuck in my room for the past week, and it hasn't been as bad as I thought it was going to be. So
yeah.
Interesting.
So where's your wife? Separated.
She's with the kids around, and that's the hardest part. Not being able to like hug and see my wife and my kids. That's the hardest part of it all. But thank God, I'm doing well, healthy, and that's about it. That's been my week. How was your week?
It's like transformative. I mean, I just moved here to a different location, so it's I have more self-reflection and things to do, and definitely will be taking time for myself away from C.H.A.I Together shortly. So
got it.
Doing as many lives as I can right now. So let me tell you a little bit about you, okay? So Luis Sandoval is a high-spirited, inspirational, and motivational speaker who's been inspiring the youth for over 15 years. He struggled in school, and now he works as an AV senior support engineer at one of the top 3 social media companies in the world. What is that company?
Where's that company? You really gonna take me there? You really gonna make me say?
I don't know. What is it?
Twitter. I work at Twitter. So
you work at Twitter?
I work at Twitter. Yes. So please, guys, do not DM me asking me how can I be verified. I don't know. Nobody knows. Just
oh my God. Dude, that is so funny. I never heard of anyone working at Twitter, and I don't have Twitter. I really considered getting one, but it just didn't do it for me. It's like you just post your thoughts, and that's really it. Like I need to do something more in depth than that.
Got it. There was a lot of misconceptions. There's a lot of people who go on there don't so much tweet. They follow people that do tweets and like the entertainers and get news, and that's pretty much the whole thing with Twitter.
Yeah, I don't follow news. It's unhealthy for me. So do you have Twitter?
Yes, I do.
Wow.
Yes. Yeah. I didn't use Twitter as much until I joined it. I set up an account, used it for like a month, and never bothered until I got hired. I'm like, hey, I got to jump on Twitter now.
Your internet connection is really poor.
It is? Oh my gosh.
Blurry.
Oh, geez, I'm sorry. It's usually good.
Oh, that's so cool. All right. So tell us, so where do you want to start? Do you want to start with your childhood? Like, how was that?
Childhood wasn't bad. I was raised in a single family home. My mom and my dad split up. I would remember maybe 7 years old. And so pretty much I was in a single family home. But my father was there. And then right into high school. Get right into it. So pretty much ninth grade, 10th grade wasn't that bad. I started dating this girl. 10th grade, started hanging out with the wrong crowd. Cutting class. It started from there. You cut class 1 day, 2 days after that. You're like, okay, this becomes a habit. It becomes addictive. And you just start cutting class. If it's like cloudy, raining, I'm going to stay home today. So I started doing things like that. Joined a little quote unquote gang in the school, trying to fit in and try to follow the crowd and do what everybody else is doing. And it wasn't until about my senior year where it was like, all right, I have to do something with my life. I was at like maybe the beginning of the senior year, I was short some credits and I was like, all right, I have to do something. So they ended up transferring me to an alternative school. And when I transferred to an alternative school, that's when everything just changed. Like, all right, I was more focused. I didn't have the wrong crowd to hang out with. I was focused on my studies, and I was able to graduate that year. And the crazy part is that, like, when I was before that, I was barely passing my classes, doing like the last minute catching up homework, doing the extra credit work just to get a little more, just to pass. And I would barely pass my classes until that last year where I put everything in my heart, my soul. I was focused, doing my thing. I was able to pass with like 85s and 90s. I didn't do that at all. 9th, 10th, 11th grade, because I was too busy focusing on other stuff and I was distracted. But the second I put my mind to it, I was able to pass with flying colors. And that was pretty much my high school story there. And then I don't know where you want me to go. I don't want to.
It's cool. So, like, during that time, you didn't get into fights or any bullying. Like, was it?
No, I didn't get into any fights. Maybe once in 7th grade, some kid stuff. Some guy fouled me, and you have the kids instigating. Oh! I'm like, oh, fight! And that was my only fight in my lifetime. I'm not a fighter. I'm a lover. I'm cool. I'm very chill, relaxed. But that was the only time in my life that I actually fought somebody.
When you moved you were telling me, from Brooklyn to Jersey, is that because your parents divorced?
No, actually, yeah, I moved to Jersey because I wanted a life for the kids, for my wife.
Oh, later on.
Yes. Maybe I've been here 3 years now in Jersey, so for 4 years.
So I remember when I spoke to you prior that you weren't ready to come on camera. So tell us more about that. Why?
I've always struggled with interviews. I don't know what it is, whether it's work, like for a job, or just I just struggle. Like sometimes my mind will go blank, or yeah, that's pretty much it. Like I don't know what to say. Like they ask me a question, I'm like, and I just freeze up, and that's why I had a hard time. Like, yes, I'll do this because I want to practice more. I want to be more comfortable. And yeah, that's why I kind of delayed the process. But I just got to get out there and just do it. The more you do it, the better you get at it. And that's it.
Yeah, it's like slow down.
You see?
Yeah. Is it just you're just excited?
It's a mixture of excitement at the same time. It's like nervousness too.
Oh.
Yeah. No, breathe. Yeah.
No, I'm serious.
I took a deep breath. I can breathe.
So, in your bio, you stated that you work with the youth over 15 years, right?
Yes.
Yeah, tell us more about that.
So it all started, was maybe about 21. My wife and I, so I met my wife at church. We got involved in the youth ministry. Just to rewind a little bit, there was this one time that I was sitting in the front row of my church and my pastor was preaching, and I'm watching him preach, and just this thoughts and this feeling I had inside, I want to be up there just like him one day preaching. And just like, wow, that feeling that I felt. And fast forward a few years down the line, I got involved little by little in youth ministry, started working with the young people, got involved just as a youth leader and mentoring kids. And one day I ended up just like how I desired, and that thought came to mind. I want to be up there preaching, and it happened. So that's how I got involved in youth ministry. It's just something that just developed. I just said, let me just volunteer, let me help out, and a passion developed for young people to help them grow spiritually, guide them through their teenage years where they're struggling with fitting in, identity issues. Who am I? What am I put on this earth to do? And all these struggles that they go through being a teenager. So that's how I pretty much got involved in youth ministry and working with teens. And I've been working, it was about 15 years. I worked with young people. I was a pastor, youth pastor for 7 years out of 15 years. And ever since I left my last church that I was working with them, it's been like 3 years that I haven't worked with young people, but my heart is still to serve and help young people grow, whether it's mentally, spiritually. That's my heart. That's my desire.
Do you feel you see yourself in these young kids? Like, did you feel those same feelings? Like lost identity, especially with your parents being divorced? Like, did you have any challenges?
As far as, to be honest, in that area, thank God I didn't have any challenges in that area for me. Like my father still,
really?
We still got together. My father and I have a tight relationship despite them going the separate ways. That didn't affect my relationship with my father, thank God. And to this day, we're still close and we're great. I know when the hardest part that I can remember is that when maybe I was 7 years old, I would say 7 years old. My father was leaving that night. It was maybe, I don't know, late at night. I know they were giving Cheers, the show Cheers, and I heard the music play, and my father was leaving. I was sad because I didn't want my father to leave. And I'm like, Papi, don't go. And he left, and it just broke my heart. And it's crazy how the brain works and with music and everything, that whenever I hear Cheers, the theme song, it takes me back to that day. And I feel the same emotions that I felt that day of sadness and just sadness. Yeah. So that was like the most hardest part I can remember. The hardest part of my life when my parents like split and see my father leave and me being heartbroken. I didn't want him to leave.
Yeah, that's traumatic.
Yeah.
Yeah, at 7. So what is your goal like for youth? Like, what do you want to do?
My goal is to go to schools and speak to young people, be a motivational speaker for young people. That's my heart. That's my desire. It's my calling. It's something that calls out to me. So right now, that's what I'm working on. I have my website. I getting a list of all the schools in the area, like a 30-mile radius from where I live. And I'm going to reach out to principals, send them an email, say, hey, I'm here to serve you and help build these young people. And that's my desire. And also not only that, but even mentoring. Like, I just don't want to go into schools and speak and that's it. I want to mentor young people. I want to inspire them to dream big and so they can pursue their dreams and accomplish their dreams. And maybe they're in a situation in which I was in, where I didn't care about school. I was distracted, hanging out with the wrong crowd, making the wrong decisions. And I want to guide them. And I know I have a message I can speak to them. And I'm going in there with a mission to speak life into dead bones, into dead situations, to speak life into young people that maybe nobody has spoken life into. Maybe their parents don't care about it anymore.
Yeah.
I'm there to speak a life and I have a message to share with them. So that's my
How old are your kids?
My kids are, my daughter's 6, going on 16, and my son is 10. My daughter's very independent.
6. And I'm sorry, how old is your son?
My son is 10 years old.
10 years old.
Yes. Yeah.
How do you feel, in your family now, coming from, divorced parents? Did you ever have that fear before you got married, like a fear of not wanting to get married because your own parents divorced?
Not at all. I didn't feel that. Again, they had their issues, they had their things, but in my mind, this is the one I love. This is the one I want to be with, and there was no thought of divorce, and I don't even contemplate that in my mind. I don't even think about it. Like,
you don't think about that, yeah.
Exactly.
You don't think it into results, right? The thinking program.
You got it. Yes, you got it. So I just like, hey, if I'm doing this. I'm doing this for life. Yes, we've had our ups and way downs, but through it all, we stuck it out and we stuck through it, and we're still together. And like I always tell her, I was like, babe, if I'm gonna leave, I'm gonna do it now before the 10-year mark, because when the 10 years comes up, I have to give you alimony. So that's it. 10 years are done.
Oh my God. They say marriage is a business agreement.
Yes. Yeah, but no, it's a joke. It's a joke we all have. By 10 years.
10 years?
Yeah.
Oh, it's time for alimony.
Yeah. So I'm stuck. I say I'm not leaving anywhere. Alimony and child support, I'm good.
I find it to be like a rare blessing that, the statistic of parents divorcing and the fact that you didn't act out, but you did say that you were headed down the wrong path, right? With the influences, and was that during that period of time when they were divorced?
You're saying that did the divorce have an impact on the way I reacted?
Yes, because children, so my background's in teaching as well, and children naturally tend to shift their behaviors because they're not getting the equal amount of love, or their environment, right, is being affected. So if you were with your dad, what about your relationship with your mom?
Relationship was fine. It was fine as well. There were no issues there. I think my issue, the reason why I went the wrong path, or some you can say, is because hanging out with the wrong crowd. That's pretty much it. Who you surround with, you become who you surround yourself with. And me being distracted, wanted to cut
How
class.
old are you?
Exactly. Trying to fit in and trying to find myself. And that's it. That's it.
How old are you,
I
Louis?
am 43. Made me think there.
So in
43.
these 43 years, what's something that happened to you that was like your lowest point? Have you come to that yet? Oh, I can't hear you. It's not me this time.
Somehow it muted somehow. Can you hear me? That's weird. I didn't touch anything. You hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, that's weird. I didn't touch anything. I don't know how I'm muted.
Maybe that's like a that question.
But I'm sorry. What was the question again? I got distracted with the.
In 43 years.
Yes.
So for you, you don't have a traumatic story, right?
Correct. I do not.
So you don't. So how does, you've lived a lot of life in 43 years. So aside from the divorce of your parents, you're coming from a stable background, right?
Yes.
Regarding your mental health. So what have you had, your lowest point yet? Like something so traumatic that happened to you, like a loss or something. What was that period like? Have you had that yet? In 43 years, I mean, that's a lot of living.
Yes,
if you're comfortable talking about it, because it has to be deeper than that. The reason why I do C.H.A.I together is because everybody has some trauma, regardless of whether they know it or not.
Okay.
And most people aren't comfortable publicly displaying that because their family doesn't know or for whatever reasons. And I mean, it's a blessing if you don't, but I'm just asking.
To be honest, I do not have any traumatic experience.
Wow.
I have anything experience. I did go through, I guess, a season where my wife and I were trying to conceive, and that didn't happen. So I can talk about that if you want. Maybe to help somebody out.
That's interesting. Go ahead.
So my wife, after 5 years of being married or so, we ended up trying to conceive a child. And it wasn't working. It's like, all right, month by month, and nothing at all. So after a while, we're like, all right, let's go to the doctor, check this out. Went to the doctor. I have what you call it. I had low counts, and there was also something with her a little bit on her side. So we tried in vitro. That didn't work. And then we tried, artificial insemination first. Artificial insemination first. That didn't work.
Wow.
All right. Yes, correct. And then we did in vitro, and that didn't work either. So we're like, that was a hard part. Like seeing like me being a youth pastor, and then some of the kids in the youth ministry, 1 or 2 kids in the youth ministry ended up getting pregnant, and we're trying and we can't get pregnant. That was very hard. Like, God, how is we're doing things the right way? We're married and they're not. They're having children out of wedlock, and how is it happening for them and not for me? Or I'm being honest. I'm being transparent. Those were the thoughts that would come to our head. Like, God, we're doing things right. Why aren't you blessing us? What's going on? And it was a hard, like those 5 years felt like 50 years. Where even my wife, every month, my wife would be like, babe, I think this is it. I think this is it. And month after month, no, constant disappointments, month after month. And after all, I'm like, all right, babe. In my head, I wouldn't tell her this. She'd be like, babe, I'm feeling nauseous. I'm feeling this. I'm feeling that. And I'm like, okay, babe. Okay, let's just wait. And every month, she would get her menstrual, her cycle. And one day, it just happens. And I'll be straight up honest. Like, this is just, you want me to be transparent? This is transparent. So that month was for my birthday. We only did it once that month. And it happened that month. That month it happened. We only did it once, and it happened that one time, and that's it. And that was God showing off, saying, you know what? It wasn't your timing. The doctors couldn't do it. Yes, they're great. They're awesome. They tried everything they could. But when it's my timing, and that's it. And I'm like, all right, God, thank you so much. So after like 5 years of trying artificial insemination, in vitro, going through the ups and downs emotionally, it finally happened. And then fast forward a few years later, we ended up having, again, another child. So now we have two children. So we went from like trying, the doctor saying, we can't promise that you're going to have a child, to now having 2 children. And that's my story.
And you're sticking to it. All I'm going to say is that is very vulnerable and very transparent, because I've never heard a man speak about that before.
That never happens, but that was like a little testimony, like a little like God showing off. Like, look, it took one time.
You know, it's interesting because IVF is not an easy process. Like
no, it's not.
Injections to the finances and the stuff it does to your body. And during that time, did you feel less of a man because of that?
Yes, I did. Yes, I did. Like, man, I cannot give my wife a child. Like, I felt you nailed it. You nailed it. I felt less of a man because I couldn't provide that for her.
Did you talk to your pastor, like, or therapy? You haven't been to therapy, right?
Not at that time. I got married after I got married.
You've been to therapy?
I've been to therapy. Yeah. Not about this.
Tell us
Yeah,
about
I'm sorry.
I was like, tell us about that. Because you didn't have anything traumatic. So what was the reason you went to therapy?
First, I ended up going for marriage counseling.
Wow.
That was the reason why I went. And again, you when it comes to like therapy and going to a therapist or psychologist, or it's always frowned upon, looked down upon, especially in Spanish culture. Like, oh, you're crazy. If you're going to a therapist, you're crazy. If you're going to a psychologist, tú estás loco. And you're crazy. And it's like, no, now I'm like, my God, therapy is such a blessing. The therapist, oh my God, amazing. She did wonders for our family, for my wife and I. Like, they show you, like, they're able to like open up your eyes and see things you've never seen before from your past or from this or that. And it's mind blowing. And even after the marriage counseling, I ended up seeing her as my therapist, as a therapist. So it was amazing. And that from time to time, even through this whole pandemic, I ended up needing to have to talk to her, and she helped me. She guided me through what things I should do to help me focus and get my mind right. Because this pandemic hasn't been easy. It has not. But thank God for her. It's helped.
I'm smiling because I find this to be very interesting, because when we first started talking, it was really quick and it was about, how you did in school and that's it. But it's way deeper than that. So many layers. So that's why I'm digging deep, because it's like, don't act like you don't have stuff going on. So the fact that like a lot of people don't talk about that, but I definitely think, marriage, like people, you don't know how to do marriage unless you ever did it before. You know what I mean? It's like, how challenging it could possibly be, because the person isn't the same. Like, you can outgrow. That's when people tend to get divorced after like the 10 years, because they can't grow with them, right? So they grow
exactly apart.
But it's interesting that you said, you've been seeing the therapist to get your mind right during the pandemic, even though, you don't have specific traumas that are bothering you and things like that, just to even stay sane. So what would you basically like say to people who don't have a traumatic story, that may feel like they don't need to go to a therapist because they don't? You know what I mean?
Take me, for example. I didn't have a traumatic experience.
and
I thought there was, and I have a relative who was like, nah, I wouldn't do that. Yeah, okay, yeah, give me the number. Yeah. And I put him onto it, and it's a life changer. Like, even he was like, wow, I should have done this years ago. You have your own personal counselor. Somebody, when you're upset, you just want to vent, call the person, you set up an appointment. Yeah, tomorrow, 9:00. I just want to talk. And the person will listen to you. The therapist will listen to you. And if you want a response back, they'll give you, all right, here, try this, try that. And I wish I would have done this in my 20s, and it would save me so much heartache, pain, everything. Please, just try it once. Just try it once. And trust me when I tell you, it's a game changer. It's a life changer. It's amazing.
That's what it did to me. It's a life changer. So I am in my 20s, and I would have liked to do it in my teen years. If I would have started my teen years, I feel like I could have saved myself a lot of suffering.
Yes.
Depression and things like that. It's interesting you say that, especially being a male. So is this something you're very open, with your family about? And they say that you're crazy for going?
No. I think my family's cool, but they're not one of those Spanish where like, tú estás loco, you crazy. No, they're not like that. But yeah, I told them I have no shame in my game. I told them, and they're like, wow, this is awesome. This is great. And I've been able to refer other people to the same therapist I go to, a few people. And they're like, wow, I should have done this a long time ago. So.
Firstly, thank you for sharing, regarding, your wife and you conceiving. And I want to ask one question. So both the children, they were conceived naturally then in their
Yes.
timing.
Mm.
I find it to be interesting because science is wicked, because I've been pregnant before as well. And I actually had an abortion with my twins. And it's wicked because it's something so small and something that an act that we all perform that can be very serious. But the fact that you got you and your wife did IVF and something else, right? But do you feel like there was really a need to, or was it just being patient? Like, even though the doctor said that, but do you really believe it was just timing, or what are your thoughts?
Now I believe it's timing. Now, after everything happened, I believe it's timing. We thought we needed, that's what we needed to do at the time. And we did it. We tried it. It didn't work out. And it happened naturally. It happened naturally.
Yeah. I find it to be interesting because there was really nothing. Doctors will tell you that you can't conceive, but then people tend to naturally conceive later anyway.
Exactly.
That's what tends to happen.
Yep.
So you spent all that money.
Yeah, but thank God insurance covered it. I'm happy about that.
Oh, wow. Congratulations on that.
Yes.
I want to ask you, do you know what a C-type goal is?
I'm sorry?
A C-type goal?
No, I do not.
So that's from Thinking into Results program. So C-type goal is, your fantasy goal that you don't know the how to, like what for you that you want to achieve in the world, like your big goal.
What's my big goal?
Yeah, your C-type goal. So C-type goal is like a fantasy goal that you don't know how to do it. Not like not to buy a car or something. Not not motivation speaking, like something that you can't even imagine. Like a fantasy.
To be honest, no, I do not.
Wow.
When it comes to motivational speaking, I know what that's my thing, and I know what I need to do to get there. And I don't have a C-type goal, I guess you can say.
I think you should start.
All right.
Yeah.
You got it.
Awesome. Do you want to leave the viewers with info about you where they can reach you if they want to talk?
Sure. Yes. You could find me, Luis Sandoval. So they're very Spanish. LuisSandoval.org. I'm also on Instagram, motivation.lu, L-U. Twitter, same thing. But I mostly post on Instagram. That's like my main avenue there. So, and for young people, I'm on TikTok, and I do MotivationLu, and that's geared more towards young people. Like the content there is more towards young people because we got to go where they're at. So,
and Twitch is good too. Do you know about Twitch?
I haven't. No, yeah, I've heard about Twitch, but I haven't.
Yeah, it's interesting you say TikTok for young people because now adults are going on it to create stories for their business as well.
Yeah.
Are you on Clubhouse?
I'm on Clubhouse. Yeah, I haven't done any sessions yet, but yes, I'm on Clubhouse. Same thing. I think motivation.lu or MotivationLu. So
awesome. It's great having you. Would you like?
Thank you for having me. Thank you for having
me.
Thank you again. I appreciate it.
Oh. Any more words of wisdom?
More words of wisdom? Me, I'm all about dreams. That's my passion. That's my heart.
Oh, your mic fell out.
Why are you doing it? Hold on.
I can hear you. No. I can't hear you.
All right. Is it good now?
Yeah, it's good now.
Please let me know if it's not. I'm going to just switch the microphone real quick and put the laptop on.
It's good.
All right, cool. My heart, I am big on dreams. I've had 4 dreams come to pass.
Wow.
Yes. I'll make it really quick, short, and sweet.
Yeah.
I don't want to be forever. But the first dream was to, like I mentioned before, to be preaching and speaking. I was in the front row of my church, see my pastor preach. I say, one day I want to be up there preaching. That happened. At the age of 24, I was serving at my church doing audiovisual. And I said, man, you know what? I love this so much. I would love to do this for a living and get paid for it. What am I doing? Fast forward 10 years later, doing what I love to do and getting paid for it.
At Twitter.
Exactly. Number 3, last year, November 2020, I love convertibles. Since I was a kid, teenager, I've always loved convertibles. 2020 November, I'm in my car. I rented a convertible. I was enjoying it, loving it. I made a video. I said, you know what? by the end of 2023, I'm going to have my own convertible and it's going to be paid in full. So what I did, I went home, I got down a piece of paper, I went to a website, I wrote down exactly how I want the car, what color, what this, amenities, features, everything. Then I wrote down how I was going to get the car. And then I started speaking it and declaring it. I started believing it. I went after it. And it went from the end of 2023 to 134 days later, I buy a car. It wasn't exactly the same color, but it was better, even better features, better everything, and it's paid in full. So it went from 2023 to 134 days later, and I was able to manifest that. And next is my motivational speaking thing. I know it's going to happen. I know it's going to happen. I don't doubt it for a second. I just got to do my part. And I have the 7 it's to manifesting your dreams. Number 1, dream it or see it. Number 1, see it. Number 2, write it down. The plan, the vision, exactly detailed how you want it, like how I wrote down the car. Number 3, the how. Number 4, speak it, declare it. Number 5, believe it. Number 6, pursue it. And then the 7th one, which is the whole completion, repeat it again. Repeat the whole thing again. See it in your brain. Number 2, if you don't want to write it down, read your vision, read your how you're going to do it, your goal. Then declare it again. When you're feeling discouraged and you want to give up on your dream, speak it, declare it. I am a motivational speaker. I am going to open up my own restaurant. I am going to fill in the blank. Speak it, believe it. Then once you start declaring it, then your mind picks up on it. You start believing it, and you start believing it, and then continue to go after it, pursue it, and then again repeat, and that's it. So
it's so true. Subconsciously, you know, the only difference that I hear, because this is thinking into results, right? This is what John does in the Bob Proctor program. The only difference here is when you say to know how you're going to do it. I believe that you should know the practical step, right? Because dreams are big. You should know the next practical step. But it's like they teach us to not know the how, like leave the how to the universe. As long as you keep at it, like consistent, the how will fall into place, the money will come or whatever it is, because it's physically not in our hands. So when you say know the how, you mean to know the next practical step you're going to take. Is that right?
Yes. Like let's say, for example, somebody wants to be, let's say somebody wants to be a doctor. They know they have to go to school. They have to, so that's like the practical how you're going to do it. What is it? Like, you want to have my car. I have to save this amount of money every week. And so that's
okay.
It goes.
So good. This is really good. You were speaking right now. You're on fire.
Yeah. I feel like when you start going, you're like,
yeah, so good. So I want to ask you one more question. So is the Les Brown's Power Voice Academy the first speaking program you joined?
Yes, it is.
Oh, wow. And what was your experience there? Wait, you spoke on the summit.
I'm sorry?
You also spoke on the summit.
No, I didn't speak at the Les Brown Summit. I spoke at the other unscripted one. Global, yes. And that was, again, that's just an honor. It's a privilege to do that. That was amazing. Thanks to Iffy and Precious and Unscripted Voices. Yeah,
how'd you like the Power Voice program?
Oh, I enjoyed it. To be under, just to listen to Les Brown week after week, just a one-on-one, like, who gets to do that? It was amazing. It was amazing. It's
That's awesome. Thank you for being on.
Thank you for having me.
Namaste. Have a great day.
You too. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.